Well, we have Palantir's earnings tomorrow, and with the market in chaos, an election looming, and conflicting data everywhere, Palantir's earnings are critical to see where Alex and team see the stock for the rest of the year. We must get down to the bottom of what is going to happen on these earnings and what the stock will do if Alex bangs the table again or something else like that. So let's talk about exactly what I see happening, the three things I'm watching for specifically, and I do have one big concern, guys, with this earnings call in particular, and I'll give you my exact plan through all this, complete with what price I want to add more shares of Palantir at. So a lot to get into today, guys, so just make sure you like the video if you like getting the truth without the hype, because that's what you're going to get. And remember to actually do that for all the creators that you like. It's the best way to show them that you support them, and it's free to do too. All right, so this earnings season has once again been nothing short of extraordinary, and you have mega caps still moving wildly like they're small caps, and earnings moves that make no sense at all, kind of per the usual of earnings season. Which earnings season is usually wild, and it's why I buy according to my plan and avoid all the craziness around earnings, because a stock is never more manipulated than around earnings. That's why I don't play any of those silly earnings games or any of those silly earnings trades or anything else like that. Which we will be watching Palantir's earnings live together in real time in my group, where the election chaos flash sale is live, where you can talk to me about Palantir's earnings or anything else Palantir related. You can get your free coaching, my buy and sell alerts on Palantir, and more that we'll talk about at the end of this video, since we need to get back to earnings, but it's the pinned comment down there for those interested. Now, there's a constant battle with this stock. I mean, is it a future $1 trillion company? Or is it just trash and another stock destined to be bankrupt in just a few years? I mean, seriously, people see it as just another stock Wall Street will be late to, or it's complete overhyped garbage doomed to fail. It's kind of like Tesla still is to this day. You know, kind of not to the extreme on the bull or the bear side, which we all know they can just get ridiculous. But Palantir clearly falls into the I get it camp, and it's going to be big one day, or I don't get it at all, and it's overpriced hype like many stocks popular on YouTube in the last few years. And unfortunately, I think Palantir's earnings are once again going to give both sides more talking points that will bolster their positions, which means it will essentially remain extremely divided for now, but comment down below where you stand on the stock. And in the end, I actually think it's going to give us more bullish points than it is bear points, because the bear points, as the quarters continue to tick on and as Palantir continues to deliver, they continue to get less and less and less. Now, they're like small bites at one time. It's kind of like, we're going to get you, but we're going to get you, one chunk at a time. We're not going to take one giant bite or anything else like that. It's kind of not really Alex's style anyways. And that's exactly what's happening to the bears. But I don't see anything that's just so far blown out of the water that it absolutely tilts the scales one way or the other for the bulls or the bears this stage around. Now, in regards to whether Palantir beats or misses on this earnings call, I think Palantir has a beat on revenue and also puts up a beat on EPS, and it increases free cash flow once again. Now, not massive numbers, not blown out of the water numbers, although maybe it's possible with all the moves that they've been making lately. But I do think that they beat all the way around. And for those of you guys that don't kind of understand their structure and how they report and kind of the intricacies of their financials, that is the number to watch. Free cash flow. That's the number to watch the most based on how they do their accounting. So I'm expecting a very good quarter, but Palantir being on such a run coming into earnings, Wall Street may have other ideas, because I can't lie, this run has just been utterly ridiculous up until this point, up into this earnings. So here are the three things I'm watching for on this earnings call for Palantir. The first is the guidance on new contracts. Just like every quarter, they've had several new contracts that were announced this quarter, and once again, the kind of the lag in government contract payouts that always happens with the US government. So I don't know, shocking, I know it's the US government, who freaking knows, and all other governments for that matter, they're not much better than the US. Anyways, the point being, we've had that, and there could be a lag there, but we've also had several large contracts renewed, which proves that the business model is sticky, and at this stage, it's going to be very hard for customers, especially governments, to switch vendors over to somebody else. And guys, please, I know it comes up every earnings call, but please don't get me started on the commercial versus the government side of the business. I have no idea what the mix will look like, and I don't care either, if I'm being perfectly honest. I mean, literally, every single earnings call, there are complaints about that. And then I see it in the comments section on every single earnings video that I do as well. I mean, basically, the government grows. We'd like to see more commercial growth. The commercial growth then grows. Well, now we see government growing at the same pace, and now that's a problem. I mean, seriously, just cure cancer, and I'm sure that will be a problem for someone out there. As long as they guide to more growth in the number of contracts and the dollar amount of contracts, I'm not going to put too much stock into whether it's a commercial or a government or whatever. I just want growth overall, and that's what I'm looking at. The second thing I'm looking for is an increase in the overall growth rate for 2024. This is the one thing that I've been able to absolutely agree with or say is a fair complaint that the bears have in regards to Palantir. Although the growth rate has been good, it has not been great and has not lived up yet. It's moving in the right direction, but it has not lived up yet to the numbers Alex put out there a while ago. Now, they did readjust guidance last quarter up, which I'm not going to complain about at all. That's great, but it's not enough to push the valuation up to justify the current price, in my opinion, meaning there may not be more room to run this year, especially given the growth rate, which we are trading really, really rich, which means we may not be able to grow a whole lot next year either in regards to valuation unless we get a further raise up. So a raise in guidance will give us a reason to kind of adjust the valuation up and give a valuation reason to be at these prices, because right now, although I'm enjoying these prices, guys, don't get me wrong, I'm making a lot of money. I own a lot of Palantir. The valuation is still very, very rich. So if we don't get that raise up, it may mean that any runs for the foreseeable future are already priced in, or it means basically mean we're going to trade flat, right? Or it means Wall Street may punish us for the smallest, tiniest little thing, or just, I don't know, Alex, white t-shirt doesn't look as clean as it looked last time. That may be enough to just send the stock down. Who knows with those guys? You can never tell. And remember, we've also had many companies raise their full year guidance this quarter, some of them significantly, so it would be great to see Palantir do it as well. It would really make the case for more legs up on this latest run up, or at least justify the run up to where we can be ready on the next earnings call to once again push the valuation higher. And the third thing I'm looking at is management's execution on share buybacks. Look, you may not like it, but Wall Street likes share buybacks. So Palantir already has authorization to do it. So the question becomes if they are planning to do more buybacks this year, and kind of why or why not. Now, I understand there's goods and bads with buybacks. So regardless of the answer, the explanation will tip the hand as to where Palantir thinks it's going over the next, obviously then the rest of the year, but over the next year as well. And if they say yes, they're buying because we believe the price will be cheap in a year's time, then you know they expect big numbers, even though they don't even guide to it. Sometimes they can kind of tip their hand as to what they think is going to happen to the future price. And they could also say no to buybacks today, but because they feel they can make a lot more money putting that money to work in other opportunities in the meantime. And that again is a bullish sign from management team. So I'm going to be listening to what they say and to just see if they give us any clues that we can glean from those answers on that earnings call, which is why I say earnings calls are so important. You got to listen to them. You just, hey, I got it. We're going to watch it in my group. Not great for you. Totally understand. Go listen to the call, catch the replay. It doesn't matter. It is imperative you listen to that as a shareholder in any company. Bottom line is there is nothing coming in this earnings that's either going to prove the bulls or the bears right on this stock. However, I know that Alex and the team over there don't care at all. They're not concerned with any of this. I mean, if you did the due diligence on this management team, you know that is not where their focus lies at all. So you cannot expect these huge, incredible blowout earnings because they honestly haven't geared the business towards that in the first place. They have very, very conservative accounting and very, very conservative approach, which is great in terms of safety and everything else. But it also means that they're not able to kind of tip the scales even more aggressively in regards to earnings calls. So if they do have a blowout quarter, you know that that blowout quarter could have been even more of a blowout if it happens, because that's how conservative they are with accounting. All right, so on to the one big concern I have with Palantir this time around for earnings. All right, I'm sure a lot of you guys guessed it because I preach it all the time on this channel, but my big concern is valuation, because it is already sitting above the price I had for fair value by the end of the year. Even adjusted for the raise in guidance last quarter, it's already trading well above that. So it's not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. I remember sometimes Wall Street gets dumb and beats the stock down well below fair value too. And yes, that could happen to Palantir in very short order after these earnings. It has been overvalued a few times this year. And for those of you that use valuation and were patient, you didn't buy the overvalue, but instead picked up shares on the cheap whenever Wall Street beat it down to undervalued territory. And guys, I'm sorry, and I know some of you guys like to call me a bear for utilizing a buy low and avoid buying high strategy, which I thought was kind of the point investing, was to buy low instead of buying high. I don't know, apparently doing that makes you a bear. But anyways, despite me being bearish, I've been able to buy the stock 6 different times this year in between the $20 and $21 range, which we are up over 100% on all of those buys. And that is what happens when you use valuation as your guide instead of hype or trading or anything else like that. Or apparently being a bull apparently means don't buy low. So using that strategy too doesn't work in your favor apparently. I like the way I bought personally in regards to that. So learning valuation is key to making sure you understand that. I don't care. Google it, search it right here on YouTube. Yes, I teach it too in my group, which is on a flash sale right now, but I totally understand. May not be right for you. Learn it one way or the another. Join another group. Thankfully, there are so many resources to learn it. Just it is critical. It is critical to your success with a stock like Palantir and not get caught up on the wrong side and end up having a situation to where you own a lot of Palantir at a really high price and you're really nervous about it. So what am I doing personally? Let me be clear and upfront with this fact. You cannot time the market. Nobody can time the market. And I am still seeing all the sell and take your gains and go all cash on YouTube, or everybody making 69 different price predictions on stocks, or what's going to happen if this person's elected or that person's elected or anything else like that. I have no idea how anyone can keep up with any of it, and it's completely exhausting. And even if you do get it right and you do decide to sell today and it goes lower tomorrow, that does not mean that it was a good move unless you bought that next lower move down, which of course, if you did that, it's probably going to go lower in the short term and you're still losing, except now you incurred a tax bill if you sold for a gain, and you're essentially now a long-term investor trying to be a day trader or a swing trader or whatever the heck the case is. And that never works out well over the long run. The statistics are way against you. If you are a true long-term buy and hold investor and you believe in Palantir long-term, what happens tomorrow is not really your concern, since nobody knows what will happen with any degree of accuracy. So what is the point in making any short-term price predictions? I mean, if Warren Buffett, Peter Lynch, and all the greats say they can't do it, why the heck would I even bother with it, or why would you bother with it, or anything else? The greats can't do it. I'm not going to say I'm any better than them. So that means if you're worried about what Palantir is going to do tomorrow, or finding the bottom, or guessing stock price movements based upon what the Fed says, or selling based on recession indicators, or doing this and that because of the election, or anything else like that, you are simply speculating or trying to time the market. I mean, you can phrase it however you want, but that is what you are doing, and nobody can do it over the long run with any accuracy. But, hey, if you want to try it, go for it. But the stats are not in your favor long term. And that is why having your plan set before the earnings call is key. And I know many of you guys hate that I say that, but planning and having price targets is key to investing. So I'm simply sitting back, watching the numbers, then watching what Wall Street does. So if the earnings are good, but people freak out because Alex tapped the table 4 times in 5 seconds and his shirt isn't the right color white, or it looks a little frazzled, or whatever that basically means Palantir is doomed and is a terrible company, I will absolutely be a buyer, especially if we get back to those low 30s, because that right there is where I'd like to buy again. So I have cash ready to deploy because I don't care about the short-term price action. I care about how the business is performing. But suddenly the price goes down and Palantir isn't performing as a business and is just a terrible company. I mean, every stock gets decoupled from the underlying fundamentals of the company from time to time, and those are some of the best times to buy stocks. Holding and looking to add at your price target when short-term issues arise, like an earnings call that is great, but the stock sells off big time anyways, is the perfect time I like to add. So make sure you have your price targets ready so you can execute if they hit. And remember, if you want to be able to watch Palantir's earnings live with me, ask me any questions about Palantir you want, get your free coaching on how to do evaluation, take courses on how to do evaluation, have the best group of 6, 7, and 8-figure Discord members helping you out with that. You want to see all my buy and sell alerts, all of our expert investors buy and sell alerts, all that in there. Make sure you take advantage of the election flash sale that's going on right now, where you get all of that. We do live weekly Q&As. You get the best 6, 7, and 8-figure Discord out there. We have so many courses. I put up 3 to 4 to 5 videos a week. Guys, there's so much content involved in there. Just check out the pinned comment, see everything that's involved, and see if a membership's right for you. And click this video here if you want to see exactly what I'm buying in this market. And click here to see my exact plan for this market. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.